If you've ever thought to yourself, even in the privacy of your own home, I always feel like somebody's watching me, I got no privacy, then perhaps you are dealing with Kimi, which was directed by Steven Soderbergh and is streaming on HBO Max. And if that name sounds familiar, not HBO Max, but Steven Soderbergh, he directed many movies: Out of Sight, The Limey, Aaron Brockovich, Traffic, Ocean's 11, Solaris, Contagion, Haywire, Magic Mike. Yes, the man that directed Ocean's 11 directed Magic Mike. I don't know why that blows my goddamn mind, but yes, this is streaming on HBO Max. It was written by David Cope. I hope I got that right. Not Two Girls, One Cope. Let's move on from that joke. He wrote Death Becomes Her, Jurassic Park, Carlito's Way, The Shadow. Yes, the 1994 movie starring Alec Baldwin as a hero that only the Shadow knows. Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones 4, where everybody got on the floor and admired the fact that Harrison Ford was basically a dinosaur, and etc., etc. Seriously, look at the IMDb listing and the tremendous amount of movies that he did. Some that were even actually pretty good. So, this is a movie that just literally came out of nowhere. I had maybe seen one little plug for it on Twitter, and then suddenly, boom, it's on HBO Max. It just came out recently, and I knew nothing about it beyond the description. I knew Zoe Kravitz was in. I'm like, okay, I'm in, because Zoe Kravitz is building a pretty damn, solid amount of work as far as acting, and I was interested to see how she would handle a movie like this, since I've seen her in a couple things, but considering that the Batman is coming out pretty soon and people are really, really excited to see her play Catwoman, and if you're looking at Zoe Kravitz, how the fuck wouldn't you be excited about that? Let's see how she does with an indie thriller that is very, very relevant to the current landscape, I guess is really the best way I could go. Time period, landscape, whatever, because she plays Angela Childs, who is a tech worker that streamlines Kimi software. If you're wondering what Kimi is, it's K-I-M-I, as spelled in the title, and it's basically Alexa. Hey, Kimi, I'm here. And it's, automated stuff. And this Kimi software learns more and more every single goddamn day about you and collects data and everything that people could use to watch and hover over you and basically find a way to control you. I mean, that's kind of implied here, but that's really the whole thing of the Alexa. That's really why I don't have an Alexa. Not necessarily that I'm against technology, but why do I need something that, is trying to read my innermost thoughts? I already have enough voices trying to do that. But anyway, enough about that stuff. Let's talk about this. Zoe Kravitz turns in a really good performance as an agoraphobic tech worker that had something happen to her. I'll get into spoilers here in a little bit. Something that happened to her, and now she's agoraphobic. If you don't know what agoraphobic is, people have difficulty leaving their home, basically, their place of residence, whatever, wording you want to go with. Leaving their house, leaving their apartment. It's kind of like the movie Copycat. If you've seen Copycat, it has Sigourney Weaver, had Harry Connick Jr. as a killer. Sorry, the movie has been out for about 27 years. Sorry for the spoilers. I was 14 when that movie came out. Where has the time gone? Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana, as somebody once said. And she does work from home, and she's, given what happened previously in her life, you can understand why she's guarded against, dealing with people, and she's very clean-oriented. She takes care of her teeth. She sanitizes and everything. Since we are in the midst of a pandemic, and this takes place right in the pandemic, references a pandemic, it's also in Seattle. It really captures that landscape of Seattle being a city that is definitely the tale of two cities. You have people that are doing well, they're succeeding, and then you have the massive amounts of homeless people that are basically downtrodden. And you have I live 35 miles north of Seattle, guys. I've seen a lot of this stuff, so maybe this movie hit a little bit closer to home than other people that have either never been to Seattle or don't live near Seattle. Or maybe you don't even know where Seattle is on a map. By the way, Seattle is not the capital of Washington State, I should say. That is Olympia. If you're surprised, don't worry. Most people that live in Washington are surprised that Olympia is the capital, considering there's fuck all to do in Olympia besides go to the Capitol building and drive through Olympia, because there isn't a lot there. Back to Seattle and back to this movie, Kimi. So there is this software, and we open up with a description from, basically like a video call. And this guy, Bradley, is talking to this one person doing this interview and everything. And it looks like this great, backdrop where he's doing this great video call. And then he's actually doing it in his garage because he's a tech worker and he's making money but he's trying to do some good stuff and trying to make sure that he, takes care of his wife and takes care of his loved ones. And then we smash cut to Angela, who's doing the tech work and everything, and she's troubleshooting the various issues with the Kimi software, fixing things that Kimi doesn't understand, or Kimi can't quite understand these particular words, because it's a software that continues to grow and grow, and nothing bad happens when you have AI that becomes all-powerful. Nothing at all. Even though the Terminator movies are pretty much based on reality as far as I'm concerned with how technology is getting. But this movie is quite good. In fact, I would argue this is one of my favorite movies of the year. In fact, I fucking love this. I absolutely goddamn love this movie. This is like another Soderbergh movie that he came out with recently, a couple years ago, called Unsane. If you've seen Unsane, congratulations. This is kind of the same, tightly compact. Who's out to get who? Who's your friend? Who's your sea anemone? We must see our enemies before they come at us. And why are sea anemones out on land? That's not how aquatic life works. Basically, it's Unsane with a bit of a twist. Zoe Kravitz is very, very good in this. She is bright. She is beautiful. She does actually capture the troubled issues that Angela is going through. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of really, really good stuff here. And a lot that you can sink your teeth into. And also the movie's only, I think, from the beginning credits to, like from the opening logo. The new Warner Bros. Logo, by the way, looks like absolute ass. It's like Paramount Plus and Warner Bros. Had a goddamn baby and then decided to shart all over that baby and then put that right there. Why you would shart all over your kid, I don't know. Let's get back to this. The logo looks really weird, but from there to the end, or to when the end credits start, it's like 85 minutes. They pack a lot in here, and it's really, really good. And there's a lot of good, a lot of good narrative, a lot of good stuff to the characters. Even the characters that don't mean anything, you find stuff through little subtleties. And this is kind of a better version of C for me that I did just review recently. That it's not quite the same. You have more of a reason to root for Angela than you did the protagonist in C for me. Sorry, a bit of a spoiler right there. But it takes place basically in one location for a lot of it. And even when it, tries to go outside of said location, it does capture how somebody who is dealing with something in particular, in the case of C for me, the girl was basically legally blind. And in this, Angela is an agoraphobic that has difficulty even going out to meet the guy that she occasionally sees that lives across the apartment complex from her. In fact, I think I know where that apartment complex is. I believe I had a friend that was there, if it's the one I'm thinking of. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to be right. I also don't want to be wrong. I'm never right or wrong. I'm Swiss. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. I tell my wife I said hello. Moving on from the neutrality right there. There's this guy, Terry, who's a lawyer, that they kind of have a thing and kind of don't have a thing because she's very routine-oriented, but they come over, or he comes over, and they basically do the nasty and everything, and he's getting to nail Zoe Kravitz. How could you not love that? So from here, we find out that while she's troubleshooting some software, and this is where the spoiler section will start just soon after this, she discovers some audio of a potential crime that may have taken place that the Kimi software picked up. She can't figure out the woman's name. She talks to a guy in Romania that is a bit of a troubleshooter himself. And he even says at one point, this is Romania, the Me Too movement is like 50 years away. Which, I don't know how true that is. I've never been to Romania. I probably couldn't find it on a map if I had help. But that was kind of a funny line. Very, very crisp writing here and very solid direction and great cinematography, great camera work. He kind of uses the phone stuff, the how he filmed Unsane on a phone. So I believe it's some type of iPhone. And he did, he used a little bit of shaky cam, but not in a bad way. This was kind of filmed almost phone-like and done in a really good style. So Angela finds out about this and tries to go through the proper channels thinking a crime got committed. And she's trying to call this person, Chowdhury. I apologize for that. Not Cadbury, not bark, 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 bark. God, the Cadbury, ads were so goddamn weird. She tries to contact her, eventually does contact her and decides, okay, I need to leave my apartment. I need to take care of this. And also there's this other guy in the apartment, up and to the left of her, that is just watching her and everything, being a little bit creepy, a little bit weird. Oh no, is somebody out to get her? So she makes a copy of these files, because of course she does, because you never can really trust people. And then from there, we have a movie. And what else happens after this? Well, again, the spoilers here in a little bit. But that's pretty much about the first half. And then, do things get really good? Yes, they do. Things are really good at that point, but then things get turned up to 11. We get some good stuff. And we get a lot of real-world themes. Rob Thomas wishing said real world would stop hassling him. From there, we get some stuff that really makes it seem like, yeah, maybe, she had a reason to be scared. Maybe she, maybe stuff wasn't just all in her head. She wasn't happy. She was feeling sad. She had sunshine. And, okay, enough song references. She basically tries to solve this crime and everything and tries to take care of it, trying to do her due diligence, even though some people are telling her, you might want to leave this alone. Again, Zoe Kravitz is fucking phenomenal. The cinematography was very good. Writing very crisp. Steven Soderbergh, not every single thing has been a hit, but I would argue that his body of work is like 80 to 85% good. Solaris wasn't exactly my favorite, but I appreciated what he did with it. And Haywire, if you ignore the fact Gina Carano, while she could have been somebody huge, she basically decided to short-circuit her own goddamn career by being an idiot. Haywire is pretty good, and there's a lot of good, deeper meaning stuff in Soderbergh movies. And David Cope is a really terrific writer, so they're a great team. And it's a perfect pairing and a great amount of, good, solid acting on the card, even in the cast. Angela's mom was even played by Robin Givens. Yes, the very same Robin Givens. And Erica Christensen makes a brief appearance in this. Very brief appearance. The girl from Traffic and Swim Fan. What the fuck happened to her? Did she just stop doing, mainstream stuff? I stopped hearing about her sometime after Swim Fan. Oh, right, Swim Fan was kind of absolutely shit. This movie, though, very, very good. It's on HBO Max. It's absolutely, in my opinion, fucking phenomenal. It will be one of my favorite movies of the year. I was really enjoying it. I was curious where it was going to go, and it had me interested. And then when it finally got to the whole reveal, holy shit, oh my god, it was really, really good. Is it a little bit ridiculous? Sure. But there are a lot of real-world themes here and a lot of stuff that could potentially happen, and it gets a little bit creepy. So, now I am, and again, it's spoilers, but absolutely check this out if you have HBO Max. I have a feeling as theaters start to maybe go by the wayside, because some are, we're going to get more movies like this on streaming services. So, yes, absolutely see it. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. Okay, so this whole thing that happened with Angela, it turns out that she was arred by somebody. She was assaulted by somebody. That is the only word I will use. Do not use the other word in the comments, please. But yeah, that happened, and she felt like somebody didn't believe her. This audio that she heard of a potential crime happening was Erica Christensen's Samantha dealing with a guy, or, hearing, she had various audio logs that were recorded on the Kimi, saying, call Brad's mobile. Call Brad's mobile. Bradley. It's the guy from the beginning that was doing the call. It turns out that, well, he assaulted this woman and kept trying to pay off people to try and take care of her or even pay her off. And I was like, how dare you harass me? What are you doing? This kind of stuff. And then it turns out that, the people he worked for got some people here and they killed her. We see this in little brief stuff. And then this is sometime after Angela and Terry had just nailed each other, on her bed. Again, lucky guy. And she is trying to contact Terry, but she's been kind of a bitch to him, a bit distant. And also she's got a distant relationship with her mom. She talks to Mrs. Chowdhury. And it turns out that Chowdhury is working for this secret government agency where there's a guy named Rivas, R-I-V-A-S. Rivas, it sounds like some kind of weird night guy that would just, not Knight Rider. He would just suddenly come out and pop out of nowhere. Rivas out of nowhere. Not General Rivas. Wait, that's Grievous. So, with, her there at that office, she had made a copy, but she basically finds out pretty quickly that, oh yeah, these aren't exactly great people. She gets pursued by the guards manage to capture her, and then they capture her, but during these protests where these people are saying homes, not, basically for the homeless and everything, what'd they end up saying? God damn it. Jeez. What did I fucking have here? They just end up doing some homes. So I wrote down some notes here because it was actually pretty good writing. Stop the sweep. That's what it was. Because, sweeping out the homeless and everything. And sure, there are definitely problems here. And I'm not saying that everybody can always be helped, but there are there is a certain stigma over people that are either living between homes or struggling with stuff. And just in that little bit right there, it captures the spirit of two Seattles. One, dealing with one, with not the rich, but the ones that are doing pretty well. And the people that aren't doing so well that just get pushed aside just because they are viewed differently. And she gets captured, but then these protesters are like, what the hell are you doing? You're going to stop that. They pull her out of the van, and it seems like she escaped. She even threw her phone away because they were tracking her, because there was this other guy named Yuri, not the guy from Chernobyl Diaries, because he died because of dog attacks. Sorry if you've never seen Chernobyl Diaries. Don't. It's shit. She throws her phone away. But then somebody decides to say, hey, nice day for an umbrella stabbing, and then they stab her with something. There's like this medicine or this knockout agent on the end of a umbrella that knocks somebody out, and then a couple people show up, including one of the ones that she saw in the brief video, stuff that we got to see of Samantha being attacked. Here's a question. What if that person accidentally bumped the wrong person with that umbrella? How long had they been carrying that stuff on their umbrella? Ella, A. Really, really goddamn bizarre. Not exactly sure what the fuck was going on there. If he had bumped into somebody's dog and knocked it out, he'd been like, shit, how am I going to explain this? Especially since I don't know the person. Don't knock out somebody's dog just because they're barking. Angela ends up getting taken, and she's going to be taken back to her apartment. Now, this is in the last 20 or so minutes. And then this neighbor, the kind of creepy one, had been keeping an eye on her. She's being drugged to the apartment by these guys, where there's conveniently a convenience store just right, in the complex, like right below before you go in the entrance. Again, I swear I know where that apartment complex is. And then this neighbor tries to stop her, or tries to stop them, basically. She escapes, she gets into her apartment, but the Rivas guy is already there, and so then it's a hostage situation, and the guy's been stabbed, the neighbor. And then Angela says, oh, geez, let me see what I can do. I can decide that, hey, earlier in the movie, there was all this construction stuff going on up there, and all this stuff was happening. If I could get up there, I could take care of this, because these guys are kind of idiots, and they kind of are idiots, even though they're supposed to be stone cold killers. They're kind of idiotic because they let her get away pretty goddamn quickly. This neighbor is holding something over his stomach, and then she says, Kimi, turn off the lights, play Beastie Boys Sabotage, max volume, and she manages to escape, get up to where she gets a nail gun, tapes it, and then decides to basically just off these goddamn guys, because Angela says, I fucking had enough of men taking advantage of me, and she kills every single one of them. And she says, hey, what's your name? Kevin. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Oh, anytime. Call 911, Kimi. Okay, calling 911. Terry also shows up during this time with a bouquet of flowers, seemingly. I mean, if you have Zoe Kravitz, you were going to shower her with gifts and treat her right. I like Zoe Kravitz, in case you can't tell. So he shows up, and she's like, well, there's a man that has been stabbed that needs medical attention, and also 3 dead bodies. And she's like, hi. And he's like, what the hell's going on? So, yeah, it was a break-in, basically. This Bradley guy got captured because he tried to pay this Rivas guy off to basically take care of this issue. See, if you just don't assault people, folks, it won't be an issue. And then what happens is her and this guy Terry are perfectly happy. And that's the end of the movie. 85 minutes. Nice and compact. Really, really goddamn good. Very well done. Very well made. Great cinematography. Great technical direction. Great music. It's really, really good stuff. One of my favorite. A+ easily. I had a great goddamn time with this. Is it perfectly logical? No, it does get a little bit ridiculous at the end. But you know what? It was really good. I had great fun with this movie. So I'm giving it an A+ for sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.